Oh, hi. I'm Scott Smoot, and I am a good friend of Kelly Bird. I call her Bird, but you call her Pastor Bird. And I am on the beautiful campus of Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, where I met her 35 years ago, I think. Anyway, we were really good friends, and we still are. But one day we were really bored, and we took a walk through town, and we came across the chapel here. We're on the College Green. The chapel is called Galbraith Memorial Chapel. Isn't it beautiful? And as we were walking by, Bird heard something that was going on inside, and she was really curious, as she always was. And we tried to get inside to see what was going on, but she couldn't get inside because the doors were locked. So we went up to this window here, and obviously it's too high for her to look in, so I came up with the idea of putting her on my shoulders and hoisting her up to take a look on what was going on inside. And she didn't tell me what she saw inside there, but ever since she looked in the window, she was inspired to become a minister, a pastor, and that's how she became a pastor 10 years later, and has been one now for 20 years. So I congratulate you, Kelly Bird, for 20 years of being a great pastor. And I was at your ordination, and it was excellent. It was fun, and I'm so proud of you. And I hope you have 20 more years of being a minister. So anyway, congratulations. Thank you.
It's pretty much impossible to narrow down all of Kelly Bird into a reasonable and G-rated minute for her congregation. In lieu of telling an embarrassing story about Kelly, because I just couldn't think of one, haha, just kidding, I thought I'd give the highlights of the 4 awesome years I got to live in the same town as Kelly. These are the things you do when you spend time with Kelly Bird. Number 1, we ate. We ate a lot of Dairy Queen hot dogs. At once sometimes. We ate a lot of McDonald's French fries. We ate a lot of amazing dinners our roommate Ann cooked for us in wonderful company. For birthdays, Kelly would lay down ho-hos in a pan, spoon vanilla ice cream over it, put it in the freezer, and make each of us a ho-ho birthday cake. Number 2, we played. We played a lot of Frisbee, like a lot. There was almost no grass left in the quad at Yale Divinity School by the time we finished. We took a lot of runs in all sorts of weather. From Kelly, I finally learned the farmer's blow so that I could blow my nose while running without A, getting it all over my clothes, or B, having to carry a Kleenex with me. The next time I mastered this and ran with a male classmate, he was completely grossed out. I'd like to note that numbers 1 and 2, eating and playing, are in fact closely related. Number 3, we laughed. A lot. Like nearly all the time. We laughed until we snarfed our food and had to run to the bathroom. Kelly came with me on a trip to Boston, and she kept pretending to run into street signs. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but she's a pro at this. And my brother laughed until he cried. We talked a very muscular male friend of ours into dressing up with us for Halloween as one of the Supremes, and he probably regrets it to this day, but I don't, and it was hilarious, and we have pictures. Kelly's vulnerability and self-deprecating humor puts everyone at ease, and her ability to find the humor in everyday situations makes anything fun. And number 4, we cried when her mom's breast cancer returned, when we were stressed out and disappointed, when we were confronted by the world's injustices, because Kelly Bird is one of the most passionate and compassionate people I've ever met. Obviously, Kelly's a hard worker and a high achiever. She spent years embodying God's love and thirst and justice for so many people. She's the best friend anyone could ever ask for. We are all privileged to know this amazing creation of God. Happy anniversary, Kelly.
Hi, my name is Ann Choi. I was one of Kelly's housemates when we were in seminary together. Kelly is the one with the endless supply of impossible stories. But I wanted to share a small, ordinary moment that I remember. One day, one of our housemates, Tim, was dejected after a breakup. Kelly realized that he needed our support, and she decided that we were going to go bowling because she knew that the bowling alley was the one place where you could get a beer at 2 p.m. So we went bowling, and Tim got his breakup beer. It's funny that I would carry this small memory with me all these years, but I wanted to tell you about it today because it encapsulates all these different layers of Kelly Bird. That she would drop everything to care for a friend. And just how creative her thinking is. And above all, her profound sense of compassion. That she knew how to ease the pain of heartbreak for our roommate. Not just with beer, but beer and her loving support. Congratulations on your 20th anniversary of your ordination, Reverend Bird. I look forward to many more of your stories to come.
We are pleased on behalf of the United Church of Christ to authorize the ordination of Kelly Bird into the Christian ministry.
This past June, Kelly Jane Bird declared that no amount of money could convince her to parachute from an airplane. No amount of money could convince her to go bungee jumping. I was a witness along with some other very good friends, and I remember the moment well. It was the tail end of an adventurous weekend. We had come to Detroit to see the Indigo Girls, and we were leaving with new stories to tell, including the recollection of a brief but unsettling detainment by the Canadian Border Patrol. Spending time with Bird for a weekend, a day, a moment, means collecting treasure stores of memories. I will never forget the time when I arrived in Atlanta, Georgia to begin my chaplaincy job, and the beginning was disastrous. And within 4 days, Kelly Bird was there, jumped on a plane, came down, and made things better. We went out the first night she was there to check out Atlanta, and we took a cab to go out, and it took us a while to get a ride back. We had called for a cab, and they told us they could come in an hour and a half, and we really wanted to get home before then. So Bird suggested that we order a Domino's pizza and ask if we could be delivered at home along with the pizza. And don't you know that we were delivered at home by the Domino's pizza delivery boy after he made several deliveries. And now here we are in June. Here we were in June of 2000, and my partner in crime, my co-conspirator, my fellow traveler on the road of adventure, the person I can count on to join me in any number of rough and tumble activities, disavowing future plans for skydiving and bungee jumping. Say it isn't so, Bird. But no, she explained with heartfelt conviction that she had worked too hard and too long to get to this point in her life. The time when she has answered God's call to the ministry with a resounding yes. There is no way she is going to risk losing life and limb through daredevil acts. Oh, and boy, let me tell you, she has worked hard. Back in those seminary days, the tears, the all-night reading and paper writing marathons, homesickness, her tireless ministry on behalf of homeless families in New Haven, Connecticut. When she recalls for you her good times at Yale, the laughter, the friendships, the sense of community, remember that she poured all of her heart into it. She gave everything that she had, her whole heart. But you and I know that the real risks are just beginning. The true tests of valor and courage are just beginning. Will you risk having your heart broken by the stories of human suffering you will encounter? Will you risk not being liked when you have to stand up for something you believe in when no one else agrees with you? You have been given and accepted a huge responsibility. You are charged with helping God to usher in the kingdom. This is the biggest risk you will take in your life. And curiously, even the joyful times involve risk. To officiate at the happy occasion of a wedding, to preach the good news of the gospel, to have the privilege of holding a baby while touching her head with holy water and welcoming that child into the fellowship of Christian believers is thrilling. And these are some of the honors that are bestowed upon the office of the minister. But these acts, even these acts, require you to stand slightly apart, even while standing in the midst of God's people. Be courageous enough to be yourself. Many people have an idea in their minds of how a minister should behave and what type of image a servant of God should portray. And it may surprise you to know that some people don't think women should be ministers. I also think that a lot of people believe that if you're having a good time, you're doing something wrong. I was once told I was laughing too loud with my congregation before service began. Bird, have a great time. Enjoy it. Don't take yourself too seriously. And just like that day in Detroit when Bird told us that she was no longer going to be skydiving or bungee jumping, and I looked upon her with a sense of wonderment because I knew that this was a very sacred time. Accepting this responsibility meant all and everything to her. And so now, we all join together to see how she will surprise us, how she will fulfill her call to the ministry. We love you, we are here to support you, and I know you are going to do a great job. I double dog dare you.
Hi, Kelly, and greetings to the people of Pilgrim United Church of Christ. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Scott Patterson. I was the senior pastor at Dover Church when Kelly was the associate pastor there, and I'm now the pastor emeritus at Dover United Church of Christ. On behalf of the congregation, I want to extend congratulations to you, Kelly, on your 20 years of ordination. One of the things I remember is we had a lot of fun. We laughed a lot, and you got along well with the staff and the people in the church, and you brought joy into all of their lives. And we all just had a good time during that period, and we're very, very grateful for that spirit that you brought to us. I'll never forget the church picnic when, I don't know who it was, but they got those dunking machines, and you and I both got dunked a number of times, but we raised a lot of money, more than people, I think, wanted to give. But anyway, we had a lot of fun, and I thank you for that. I also enjoyed our conversations on theology and the Bible, pastoral care, and especially on social justice. You brought to us a good perspective on many social justice issues, made us think a lot, and we thank you for that. We assigned you, I remember when you came, the task of starting the Interfaith Hospitality Program at our church, and you did a wonderful job doing that, and the program went on even after you were the associate pastor, and that's a good thing. You also brought to us personal experience with homelessness and homeless people in the city of Cleveland, and we are very grateful for that perspective that you brought to us and how to respond in a sensitive and faithful way to the needs in our own community. I also remember that I wanted to give you as much visibility as I could, because so many times the associate pastor does a lot behind the scenes and people don't get to see them. And that was very easy to do with you because you did things in such a wonderful way when you were doing things with the congregation and for the congregation, because I knew that it would be done well and people would respond to it in a good way. Congratulations on 20 years of ordination, and wish you many, many, many more years in service to Christ Church. God bless you, Kelly.
Hello, Pilgrim Congregational UCC. My name is Logan Bird, and I am Kelly's oldest nephew. But I'm not here to talk about how Kelly was the coolest babysitter I ever had. I'm here as one of the many people lucky enough to have gone on a mission trip led by Kelly while she served at Dover Congregational Church. These were some of the most rewarding experiences I have ever had, but I was skeptical at first. I grew up in a small town, and at 14 years old I had not gone very far from home without my parents. It took a lot of convincing on Kelly's part to get me to spend time with dozens of strangers in a big city like Chicago. Eventually, though, I caved, and since then I've gone on about a dozen mission trips, some with Kelly and some with other churches. I'm so grateful that Kelly pulled me out of my bubble and showed me what America was like for those living without the privilege I had taken for granted. I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't gotten the chance to meet, serve beside, worship with, and hopefully help so many different kinds of people all over this country. There are probably hundreds more people like me with stories of how Kelly opened their eyes and their hearts to the world. I'm lucky enough to have her as an aunt, but I know Kelly doesn't let blood determine who she treats like family. Congratulations for 20 years of ministry, Aunt Kelly, and thank you.
Greetings, Pilgrim Church. It's been 7 years since I worshiped with you. I wish I could transport myself to your sanctuary today. But alas, I'm in Montana, where the fall is beautiful. Oh my gosh, this isn't about Pilgrim and me, it's about Kelly. Oh, Kelly, I miss you so much. Your 20 years of ministry has brought such joy and compassion to so many. I celebrate that ministry. You are a champion of justice. And I have benefited so much from your friendship and your care. I remember when the massacre at Sandy Hook occurred, Your office was right next to mine. We met in the hallway and we grabbed each other and we just held each other for what seemed like a half an hour. I'll never forget that. Of course, I've got to tell you about the time I made you sick. True confessions here. Kelly was at an Our Whole Lives training at the National Setting Office in Cleveland, and one of the prizes we had for a small group that won a contest was a package of graham crackers. Now, Kelly was quite pregnant, and Kelly was hungry all the time. So during a break, she dove for the graham crackers, opened one pack, and stuffed a few in her mouth. And all of a sudden, I saw her hanging over a garbage can. Well, Anne had picked up a package of stale graham crackers from her pantry instead of going to the store and getting new. Kelly, I'm so sorry about that. Last time I saw you was in Seattle at Pilgrim Firs. We were doing an Our Whole Lives training together. And what a joy. What fun we had. And again, I realized what a compassionate, articulate, great friend you are to so many. And when we left that training, my son picked us up and took us to a pseudo Hooters club where we stayed for 3.5 hours. I'll never forget that conversation, and neither will my friend. So Pilgrim and Kelly, I miss you both. I know that goodness will come out of all the days of Kelly's future ministry. Bye-bye.
Hi, Kelly. It's Bentley. Congratulations on your 20th year of ordination anniversary. That's a really big deal. So I'm very honored to know you and have worked with you. And speaking of which, I know you started in the national setting at, I think it was 2012 or something like that. No, I'm sorry. That's when you were at Pilgrim. Perhaps it was 2008 in the national setting. So I know you started off there with as an interim kind of youth and young adult person. Then you came to GWM and did some JLET work with us and OWL work. And I know you were a really important asset to our team. And we were certainly sorry to see you leave. But I think you had Sam already and then had just had Grace and wanted to spend more time with them. And that made total sense to me, at least, and to others. And so you left us to go to Pilgrim, where now you're my pastor instead of my being your supervisor, and that's been a wonderful experience for me and so many others. Hence, I'm sending you this video clip. And then you even did our wedding about 1.5 years ago for David and I, and we still talk about what a beautiful day that was. And so, thank you for all you've done. Again, happy anniversary, and I wish you so many more years of powerful, important, effective leadership. And so here's to you, and know that I love you very much. Take good care. Bye.
Hi, Kelly. We have your giggling children here, and we wanted to say congratulations on 20 years as a minister. And these two are because of this. So, for those of you who don't know, Kelly and I met in 2007 at Lincoln Park in Tremont. I was taking a hiatus from my legal career, and I was in a booth selling pictures. Among them was this one that I took. And because Kelly was such a church geek and she thought it was a church, it's actually St. Ignatius, she bought it. And I asked for her number, or I think she gave me her email. She did give me her email. And I sent her an email and she never responded. So I tried again a week later, thinking maybe it went to spam, and that time she responded. And less than a year later, we were married, and about a year after that was this guy, and then 2 years after that was this girl. And it all started right across the street from Pilgrim at Lincoln Park. We just want to say we love you, and we're happy for your 20th anniversary. And here's to 20 more years. What do you guys have to say? Anything?
Thank you.
Love you,
Congratulations.
We love you.
Responding to God's call to ministry has given me countless joys, including that of accumulating and sharing cherished memories with others along the way. I'm grateful for all who've welcomed me into your lives with stories of your past, allowed me to accompany you through heartbreak, uncertainty, discernment, and acts of support for our neighbors, of public witness and justice, and the joys of weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, and other milestones. This celebration video has given me the joy of reliving some fond memories shared with cherished people on my journey through life and faith, but also to share a few of those stories with you as told by friends, mentors, and loved ones. I thank God for this calling. And Pilgrim, I give thanks for your generous spirits and many gifts that have blessed me, inspired me, and deepened my own faith. God bless you.